Gotta do it myself. Oh, let me save that. Save. Chat.
Yeah, I can't even do content. Yeah, I can't even do content anymore. It is what it is. I heard you. We're about to get off the boat. Oh, whoa. I got bisexual hands. There I go. Turn them punches. How's your boyfriend when I get to I don't have any boyfriends. Really? Yeah, I don't have any boyfriends. Yo, Maya, you have a fucking wish list on Amazon. One to make me smile. What the fuck do you think he's gonna buy you? It says that nobody has bought from your wish list. Does nobody want you? Alright, how minutes? Oh, that one got it! That one got it!
I know everyone says this. I feel like I made a genuine connection.
Damn.
This is her job. She let me follow her on Instagram. She's gonna let me follow her on Instagram. We didn't even dance. We just talked. I feel like I went in and I met Diamond, but I left knowing Denise.
Who's Denise?
She goes by Diamond. She's one of the dancers. Diamond? Wait, what did she look like? She had that Bart Simpson tattoo next to the tattoo of the cross that had the word Cincinnati on it. Yeah, dude. Really tasteful stuff. Dude, she gave me a.
Daniel.
Dang, Daniel, you win some and you lose some, but you never lose the bag trying to win some.
Sorry.
Oh, you should come over and eat what my mum just made. She made me.
You know you at an all-time low when you taking life advice from a 20-year-old with a stripper pole in the back. But hey, somebody gotta say it. Hold that thought. Hold that thought. Hold that thought.
will love you regardless of how much of a hoe you are. That man happens to be your father, not me.
Have you slept with a father and son at the same time?
Yes, yeah. I think that's brilliant. Like to have that much of a good relationship with your son, or you know, for the son to have that much of a good connection with their dad. I think it's fantastic.
You know what? That's your opinion, and I respect it. But fuck out of here.
Too many people, especially 18-year-olds, I know when I was at school, would argue with their dads or wouldn't have a good relationship with them. I think to have that much of a good relationship that you can come with your dad to sleep with me is fantastic.
Yeah, see, this is where it's either you and me are on a completely different page, or it's just generations. Because I think the father needs his head kicked in for that.
No, definitely not.
Yeah, I know you think that, but I think that is one of the most outrageous things I've ever heard, and he needs his check-in.
The dad is just a guy himself, and if he wants to be pleasured and have fun in the bedroom, he deserves that as well. So
With his son.
yeah, so I think why not? If you've got a good connection, take me from both ends.
I keep trying to tell y'all we in a free apocalypse. No morality, just chasing pleasure and dopamine. This is what happens when you worship money and you think that the purpose of life is to chase pleasure. She needs to be studied, and the dad and the son should be ashamed of themselves.
You should be ashamed of yourself. And this is you should come out and apologize.
Break
Should
your
we?
glasses with my bare hands if you do not get back inside your house. Do you understand me?
I'm just the witness, and so
Then shut up and do not
Me
talk
edit.
them.
spit
What's wrong with you?
Me
Ain't no spit on
go
you.
on some
That's not
gaming.
an assault charge.
Ooh. That's it.
They got together real bad.
If there's anyone you wanted to steal, you can call it back up.
In the option.
Come back.
Hey, bring that ass back here.
Which one?
Shorty got the white boy.
Shorty with the white boy.
It's a white boy. He's gone.
Oh, the white boy don't want to come back up? You traded him out? Your man didn't even want to come up here. You're not fighting for your girl? He tried to take your girl. You ain't coming up here?
It's simple, bro. If my girl gonna choose on me, that's not my.
He just took your girl. He just took your girl. I don't chase booty.
They're trying to make it seem like he dumb, but he the one that got the most sense. You should only be willing to invest and be with a woman who wants to be with you. And if she rather pick somebody else, then she don't want to be with you.
Two things you ain't never seen. That's a turtle with speed and a bitch I need.
Okay, soldiers, what do you do when a girl winks at you? Smiles at you. Sneezes around you.
God bless you. You think women can't live two out here insane? Y'all stop it. You know most women should not be equal. Most women should not be equal. I'm sure there's a very, very select few women who are physically capable of doing those jobs without becoming a liability or a hindrance. Out of the total population, if you took the top 10% of people who are most capable of being firefighters, pulling people out of burning buildings, who are most suited to that physical job, it's all men. All of them. If a girl can meet the standards which are pulled out of the necessity of that job, the unanimous standards that shouldn't be changed at all for anyone's identity, then fine, go for it, be a firefighter. As a general rule of thumb, women should not be firefighters. And I've seen enough body cam footage to know that they probably shouldn't be taught either. At least an officer chase you down and beat you up, guy. Because it's like, what are you going to do besides resort to shooting me? If you're 140 pounds and that fire hose is going to send you flying into midair because you can't hold
We
it
can
down,
play some
you're
games.
not suited for that position. And when it comes to LA, what are the odds that the most competent, well-accomplished firefighters in that department would all be ladies? None? Maybe probably.
Yeah, this is insane. We shouldn't be lowering the standards of our public safety officials to make people feel more included. That's insane. You don't see roller coaster rides lowering the required standards because it's not safe. So why would we do that for public safety?
We want equality. So you'll give the father of your child 50-50 custody? Oh, no, not like that, not like that.
No throwing nuggets at that kid. Say yes, sir. Okay? No throwing nuggets. Every time you throw nuggets, daddy gonna make you do squats. Do you understand? Stop throwing nuggets. Yes? Say yes, sir. Alright, give me hug, mama. Give me hug. I love you.
Mommy, what?
Relax.
influence them before social media can, and you gotta talk to them when they're young and they still look up to you. You don't
Quick
want your
game.
kid getting their morality from pop culture.
I do a quick game.
I already do my parody.
I would like to remind everybody that your favorite anime
Let me put this up so I can watch while I'm listening. Oh, show my PC live screen. Get off.
series is not gotten a season 2, maybe a season 3, hell, maybe it's never even gotten an anime to begin with. While Rent-A-Girlfriend now is getting its 4th season this upcoming July with 2 cours, aka 24 plus episodes, something that most anime can't even get nowadays because usually an anime only lasts like 12 episodes and that's it. So it's legitimately wild how somehow, despite the odds, despite the absolute visceral hatred so many people have for Rent-A-Girlfriend, somehow it manages to continuously get more and more anime seasons. Some have, started to believe that maybe this might be money laundering or something just because of how much this gets produced, but in actuality, Rent-A-Girlfriend is just extremely popular in Japan, and this is a very hard pill to swallow for a lot of people because, like, Rent-A-Girlfriend is obviously hated by a lot of people on the internet, but somehow, magically, it's extremely popular. Now, there is something I do want to talk about. So, with this upcoming season of Rent-A-Girlfriend set to air this year, this iconic scene is going to be adapted. We are going to get to see this scene finally animated. This iconic page that has made waves around the entirety of the internet for years at this point, and it is what has caused the collective hatred for Rent-A-Girlfriend for so long now, because it really just goes to showcase just how pathetic Kazuya is as an MC, but also just how the quality of writing of Rent-A-Girlfriend is basically rock bottom. There is no recovering for this man, especially after something like this. But getting into the main point, Rent-A-Girlfriend is coming soon, and a lot of people are now crashing out, getting very upset about this news, which makes a lot of sense, because obviously, like, just taking one example out there, you have stuff like this getting a season 4, while people have been waiting basically a decade at this point for a No Game No Life season 2. That's not including a variety of other things and stuff, so it's just like, yeah, I can understand the jealousy and people being a little bit upset about this, especially when Rent-A-Girlfriend gets one of the best anime adaptations for a rom-com series. I mean, it might not may spark a lot of conversation like, let's say, JJK or Chainsaw Man with its, Sakuga, its beautiful art and animation, but in terms of, like, rom-coms and romance and slice of life, Rent-A-Girlfriend is, like, high up there. Like, it is legitimately one of the best looking shows, which is just crazy. And it's like, so many people deep down wish their favorite series could get the same amount of love that Rent-A-Girlfriend gets. But it doesn't just stop there. What's really hilarious about all this is that this news comes in after just the constant announcements of many, many different manga and stuff coming to a close recently that's, like, romance related. It's like Rent-A-Girlfriend's outlasted all of them. It is truly becoming the One Piece of its genre, which is hilarious to think about. But I wanted to bring this cursed information to all of your attention, because it's like, when I saw this announcement today, I was like, I cannot believe this, man. Like, we are legitimately going to be seeing not just, like, the infamous manga panel finally animated, but there's so many people molding about this. That's kind of hilarious, I'm not gonna lie, because, keep it real with you, I've watched Rent-A-Girlfriend, I'm up to date with it and all that, and I'm gonna be honest, it's not a good series, okay? I throwing aside the mask and stuff, trying to act like it's Rent-A-Peak and all that, it's not really a quality series. But the anime is very well done and very highly produced, and Season 3 was legitimately good. But obviously, everything after that is going to just spiral down the drain, and that's definitely what we're going to get. Especially since we're getting 20 plus episodes. That's insane, bro. That's insane. But, yeah, I wanted to talk about this.
This literally just happened an hour ago. Bro said the ceasefire is epic. Yes, he did. Okay, let's watch it.
This is a massive deal weeks in the making, Alex.
It certainly is, if not longer, Pam. We have been waiting for more than 13 months since the last ceasefire deal, and since the last time there was an exchange of hostages and prisoners for this moment. It appears that this deal is imminent, if not done already. We're reporting that Hamas has agreed to the deal. There was certainly an expectation from the Israeli side that they would agree to a deal. All of this, of course, brokered after intensive negotiations with the mediators, the United States, Qatar, and Egypt. So this is obviously extremely welcome news after...
This is great. I mean, this is actually such a good thing. I think people have wanted... I mean, like, really, this is amazing. I mean, whether it was Biden or Trump or whoever, this is a great thing.
Some 14 months of fighting. And what we expect to happen, if indeed this deal goes into effect, is that over the course of some 6 weeks, we would see more than 30 Israeli hostages released by Hamas and other groups who are holding them in Gaza.
Trump 100%. How is it Trump logically? I don't know. So I don't really know if this is true or not because I don't have enough information about it. But the people that are probably going to say that it's because of Trump would probably use the example. I think that there were hostages with Jimmy Carter. And then when Reagan won the election, the hostages were immediately returned. So people are probably going to liken this situation to the time with Reagan and Jimmy Carter. And I think that they're going to think that basically Trump is going to come in there and they're worried about just getting completely carpet bombed and just getting annihilated. Because I think that there's a good chance Trump would probably do that. So that's... Like, I mean, is that the reason why this happened? It's impossible to know that. But I do think that the people that are, you know, like leading Hamas, I do think that they're worried about that. Absolutely. I mean, like, I would be fucking, like, if you were Hamas, wouldn't you be fucking terrified of that? Like, yeah, I would be, absolutely.
I think we had the exact number of Palestinian prisoners who would be released by Israel, and then there are a bunch of other different elements that would go into effect. Palestinians would be allowed to go home in the Gaza Strip. More humanitarian aid would get to go in. But I think the point here, Pam, is that after weeks of feverish work on the U.S. side with both Biden administration officials and officials from the incoming Trump team working in coordination with each other, they and the other mediators have managed to get the Israelis and Hamas, it appears, across the finish line where we are going to get a truce, a pause in this fighting. One thing I really want to emphasize is this does not mean the end of this war. This means a break in this war. Hopefully,
yeah, I think that everybody knows that.
Hopefully this break will last at least 6 weeks, if not longer. Hopefully all
Jesus Christ, how fucking bleak. Hopefully this break in the war lasts for at least 6 weeks. It's like 2 months. Oh my God.
People will come home who are supposed to come home, but there are big questions about what would happen after this first phase of a ceasefire, which, as it stands now, and this plan has been in place for quite some time since President Biden laid it out in May, this is expected to...
Somebody says, especially after Pete Hegseth said in his confirmation that he wants to kill every member of Hamas. Yeah, I mean, like, it's impossible to know whether that was a factor, and I think that it's unfair to say that it definitely was. But I would tell you this, that if I was in charge of Hamas and I saw these two crazy fucks that are about to be in charge, and they have nuclear weapons and like fucking, faster than the speed of sound jets and infinite bombs that are saying that we're going to kill every single one of you, I would be more willing to negotiate. I absolutely would.
Last around 6 weeks. So we're still waiting for final word, I believe, from all of the parties, but this certainly seems imminent, if not a done deal already.
I want to go back to MJ Lee at the White House. I believe we're reconnected. MJ, what can you tell us about this plan? Well, Pam, according to a senior administration official telling CNN, it is done, it is confirmed, meaning that Hamas has given that final green light, agreeing to this ceasefire and hostages release deal that had been on the table for a while. And based on all of our reporting, we knew that this really was the final step that all of the parties were waiting for, that it really came down to this group agreeing to the parameters that everybody else had agreed to. Part of the reason we have been so cautious in our reporting all of this time is precisely that, that in the end, it came down to Hamas giving this final green light. And when we have spoken to at least U.S. officials involved in these discussions and with knowledge of the situation, they always pointed to the fact that it was impossible to make any kind of predictions with certainty because at the end of the day, they were dealing with Hamas. But again, here we have it, confirmation from a senior administration official that Hamas has finally given the green light and there is a deal for a ceasefire in Gaza and for the hostages to be released.
What a relief.
This is a deal, as you were talking about just now with Alex, that has been elusive for the Biden administration and for the U.S. for so many months. You know, we had that initial ceasefire back more than a year ago, around Thanksgiving, 2 Thanksgivings ago, when a number of hostages came out. That ceasefire ended up being temporary, only lasting a number of days.
15 months.
And really since then, U.S. officials have been working to get a second
5 days before the 20th. Well, somebody said in chat, the innocent fears the cruel and the cruel fears the madman. Yeah, I mean, like, in my opinion, I'll say it. I think Trump's a fucking psychopath. I do. I think that he would bomb them and he would not give a fuck about how many innocent people got killed or anything. He would legitimately fucking kill all of them. I think that's what he would do. And I think that they're worried, and I think they know that. And also, it's probably not a guarantee, but it's like, would you want to take the risk of that? Ooh, I wouldn't. I wouldn't at all. It's an intellectually dishonest statement. Really? I mean, okay. I mean, that's what I think. I mean, if I were them, that's how I would look at it. Yeah. I mean, really, like, that's how I would look at it. I mean, I'm not sure. Like, maybe it wouldn't happen that way. Maybe that's not how they see it, but that's just how I'd see it.
The ceasefire in place, but it had been so challenging. There were so many moments throughout the last year plus where we reported that things looked like they were maybe getting close, that we have reason for optimism based on our sources and our reporting. But even in these final days, you know, everybody we had talked to were so careful to almost not get their hopes up too much. I think we should...
Yeah, somebody said too, hasn't he already promised to bomb them if they're not free by the time that he takes office? He has. Yep. That's exactly, yes, that is exactly what it was. And, yeah, 5 days before he takes office.
And a good deal amount of time talking about Donald Trump and the incoming president's desire to get this done that had been really so decisive in the end in helping to get this across the finish line. Certainly.
And just for our viewers, just to remind you, in terms of the numbers, Hamas and its allies hold 94 people taken from Israel on October 7th, 2023. The majority are civilians. 34 are confirmed dead, but the number is almost certainly higher than that. 81 are men and 13 women, and there are 2 under the age of 5. And
it was not Hamas, but Israel who was forced to capitulate by Trump. I mean, good. Like, I mean, yeah, I think that, yeah, good.
Of course, there's going to be phases, as Alex had laid out.
Yeah, good either way. It doesn't matter. Like, either way, it's good no matter how you get here.
The expected ceasefire. I want to go straight to Jeremy Diamond, who is on the ground there in Israel, to get the Israel part of this, because there's a process in Israel, right? Jeremy, walk us through that.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Pam. And first of all, I think it's important to note that for the last 2 days, the Israeli government officials who I've been speaking with have been saying this is in Hamas's hands. We need Hamas to say yes in order to get to a deal. And that is indeed what has now happened. And so for all intents and purposes, we do indeed now have an agreement between these parties to go into a ceasefire that is expected to last 6 weeks, during which you will see 33 Israeli hostages released, hundreds of Palestinian prisoners released from Israeli jails in exchange, the much-needed entry of...
That's good. Yeah, because a lot of people don't know this, but apparently Israel had a lot of Palestinian hostages as well. I didn't even know that. Intense and... Yeah.
Humanitarian aid, but the process that now needs to happen here in Israel in order for this deal to actually become a reality. This agreement will now go from the Israeli Prime Minister. He will take this agreement before his security cabinet, which is a smaller group of his governing coalition, some of his top ministers primarily involved in security affairs. They will then give an up or down vote on this. If it is approved, it will then go to the full cabinet for approval, and only then will the Israeli government be able to officially sign off on this deal and begin marching towards implementation. There is one additional hurdle before implementation, and that is giving the individuals who were impacted by those Palestinian prisoners who will be released the opportunity to petition the Supreme Court against their release. That is largely a formality. The Israeli government has enormous leverage, and the Prime Minister in particular has enormous freedom to release those prisoners as it relates to security matters. So that will likely be a 24-hour period that will go by. And that likely takes us most likely to Sunday, which is what I've been told is the most likely date when this deal will actually be implemented on the ground. That will mean that we will see the first Israeli hostages in more than a year be released as part of a diplomatic agreement here for these hostages to come out of Gaza. You will see the release of Palestinian prisoners from Israeli jails. And in addition to that, of course, you will see Israeli jets, Israeli troops on the ground lower their weapons. And for the first time in over a year, you will finally see the guns be silenced here, and the people of Gaza will finally get a much-needed reprieve from the military assault that they have been undergoing over the last year.
All right, thank you so much, Jeremy. I want to go to CNN foreign policy reporter Barak Ravid. What can you tell us about this deal and when the Hamas prisoners will be released, those held hostage, I should say, and the Palestinian prisoners as well? What more can you tell us about that?
So I think one of the most important things that our viewers need to know right now is that there are 7 Americans held by Hamas in Gaza. 2 of them are expected to be released in this initial phase of the hostage deal. One of them is U.S. citizen Keith Siegel. A video of him from captivity was aired a few months ago.
Oh boy.
And he is in the list for this first phase. Another U.S. citizen is Sagidek El-Khen, another U.S. citizen who is on the list of the 33 hostages expected to be released in this initial phase. And I think what is very interesting is that this deal has been in the making for months, since President Biden laid out his plan, his proposal last May. And U.S. negotiators, Qatari negotiators, Egyptian negotiators, Israeli negotiators have been working on this for months. I think the breakthrough came when the deal with Hezbollah on the ceasefire in Lebanon happened, because then Hamas in Gaza understood that it has been left alone and that no one's coming to save them. And since then, what I hear from Israeli news officials is since then, they saw a change in how Hamas is negotiating this deal, and this is how we got to this point.
Well, there it is. I think this is great. That's great. I mean, people are getting killed by this constantly. Hopefully it lasts as long as possible. Yeah, this legitimately, it's tragic this does not happen sooner. Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, I'm just glad that it's happening now. Thank God, right? I mean, like, really. And, man, literally the same hostage deal, lying cunts. I'm not sure. I bet Trump wants all the credit for it. I think that it's because of Trump or not, based off of whether you like him or not. I don't think that you can really define whether it was him that did it or not. I really don't think so. Like, it's not like there's going to be a way that Hamas is going to say with absolute honesty everything that went into making this decision. So this is going to be one of those situations where if you like Trump, this ceasefire happened because of Trump. And if you don't like Trump, this ceasefire happened, luckily, before Trump took office. So that's the way that I think that a lot of people are going to read this. And I think that they're going to make comparisons with the Jimmy Carter, Reagan thing with the hostages back. I think they were in Iran back then in like the 1980s, or I think it was 1981, something like that, right? And so that's kind of what I'm expecting is going to happen.
YouTube. You guys either play favorites, you are racist, or it's a mix of the two.
We all know how finicky content creation can be, specifically on platforms like YouTube, TikTok, and Twitch. You can literally follow all the rules and guidelines that you want to, but it just takes the algorithm not liking you or somebody taking advantage of the system, and then boom, all of a sudden you're shadow banned, your strikes, your community guideline, you're anything and everything that doesn't have you in the face of your viewers. And it's crazy because all this hard work that you put into a video can get snapped away like Thanos is in the room, and it could jeopardize all the years of hard work that you've done, especially when you're on a generational run like friend of the show Cameron. Now shouts out to Cameron because people aren't talking about his run in the commentary space. I mean, listen, he's on his way to 200K faster than anybody can blink their eyes right now. But he made a great video about Deshae Frost and the things that he does in order to get views and get people to click like and subscribe on his channel. Ultimately, it comes at the expense of his family showing off their goodies. I'm trying to beat around the bush here because I don't want YouTube to come and do the same things to me, but you know.
Deshae Frost and his team are doing everything in their power to get my channel taken down. January 1st, 2025, I released a video titled Deshae Frost Has a Huge Problem, where I took a deep dive into Deshae Frost's content on his YouTube and on his Twitch. The overall point of the video was me fairly critiquing his content and pointing out the fact that he'll do anything for views. January 2nd, Deshae Frost reacts to the video on Twitch, and he didn't like the video. So him and his audience mass reported the video live.
We're reporting that video! Report! This is harassment and bullying! This is harassing me! That I don't give a fuck! That shit harassed me!
Deshae literally pulled a fresh and fit. Like, he sent his audience to go mass report Cameron's channel and get the video striking down.
The haters tried to kill us. Over 30 plus YouTube channels made videos like slandering our name, whatever it is. Now they're mad that there's consequences of actions, bro. Y'all are not going to be able to run around and drag our name in the mud.
Now, ultimately, I do think Deshae Frost was joking here, but it's more about the system than anything. Cameron goes on to detail how he went through the appeals process, then uploaded a more blurred version of the video, but literally that meant nothing to YouTube because 20 minutes later, they literally took the video down. What makes all this worse, and this is something that I think every single YouTuber has experienced before, is that when they do stuff like this, I guess they don't realize it, but commentators take videos from other people's channels and put it into their video and give their own spin on it, their commentary behind it. So the timestamp in which they said that Cameron violated the guidelines is literally from a video that still exists on Deshae's channel to this day. And when reaching out to Team YouTube, they didn't give any clear answers. It was just vagueness upon vagueness upon vagueness. And 3 levels of vagueness, I mean, is just the most unclear thing in the world. Now, Cameron wants some clarification clarification here, and I would too as somebody who uploads videos, because there can only be two outcomes because of this. Either it's the mass reporting or YouTube is showing its level of favoritism that it's had for a very long time. I don't think it's any type of secret that these systems in place to these different social media platforms have some sort of favoritism baked into them. Like, different platforms get different preferential treatment, full stop. I remember 2 years ago when Corey Kenshin came out with his video talking about how YouTube age restricted his video showcasing where he played a game, but when people like Markiplier or other gamers played the exact same game, literally they did nothing about it.
August 18th, I uploaded The Mortuary Assistant. I let you guys know it got age restricted. YouTube didn't tell me why. All these other YouTubers were playing The Mortuary Assistant, and only my video seemed to be age restricted. So I appealed the restriction. Appeal rejected. They doubled down. The policy team said, no, Corey. My YouTube rep, who isn't on the policy team, he looked at my video and he said it could possibly be this part at the end. So I go to Markiplier's Mortuary Assistant Part 3, and he had the same situation going on, and his video wasn't age restricted. Let me send this to them and see what they say. What do you think happened after that? They removed my age restriction. Now my YouTube rep, he was excited. I said, why? I expected them to triple down and give Markiplier an age restriction too. But they looked at Mark's video and they used that to verify my innocence.
It's funny because in that same video where Corey Kenshin is talking about YouTube's responsibilities and how different they are and they play favoritism, he got ad suitability in that video almost immediately, he said. Look, YouTube's bigger content creators can sway the platform. We know this. These are the people that drive eyes and viewers to the platform. So naturally speaking, if people were looking to do things from a business perspective, then they would honestly have some sort of favoritism baked in. It makes sense. But the problem is when these bigger channels now have this level of intimidation that they can place upon smaller channels, because at the snap of a finger, they know that they can levy their power or whatever abilities or reps that they have, or, you know, have their audience, weaponize them all against smaller creators. And all that leaves for the smaller creator is a prayer and a tweet on Twitter that says, hey, can you blow this up? And then some automated response comes in from, I don't even know how they find these things, bots or whatever the case may be. And you get some generic ass answer, but ultimately the person that wins in these situations is even the bigger creator. And it's crazy when it happens to bigger creators, when bigger creators get sunned by bigger creators. It clearly states that there is a problem in the system and something needs to be done about it.
Every single time that I come back to YouTube, I'm #1 trending for a few days, and then they find some arbitrary issue. They nitpick and they try and find something that they can incriminate me for and try to push me down. You don't believe me? What happened the last time I came back and I was #1 trending for like a week? They copyright struck me for a video that was in 2019 or something like that. Why don't these issues ever crop up when I'm not uploading? I'm not on YouTube like 9 months out of the year. Nothing ever happens until I come back and I start uploading again and I'm getting my numbers, I'm #1 trending, and then they're like, hey, we need to stop him. We need to, this black man, he's getting too many views. He's getting too much exposure, too much activity.
We've also seen bigger creators leverage things like DMCA claims that say, hey, something's going on in this video, it's copywritten, they don't have my express written consent, blah, 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 and say, we need to look at this person's channel and take their content away. Remember I mentioned Fresh and Fit earlier? It's not because this is videos about Red Pill. It's because a couple of years ago, they did some of the most absurd things that are big no-nos on YouTube. They went around and started filing claims on channel after channel after channel, specifically Abba and Preach and our good friends Playback.
Fresh and Fit trying to get us out of here, my boys. This is also a warning to other channels out there as well. If y'all run into any complications, please be on the lookout, because it seems like they are trying to silence a lot of people and make sure all your videos are removed about them.
I've had my fair share of like drama on YouTube, and in most of those situations, it usually is like I'll like see something crazy and I'll call it out, and then that person I'm calling out has a problem with it. I just haven't had someone stoop down to the point where they're striking videos, and I've dealt with some bad actors before, but nothing like what I think we're seeing roll out right now. Not like this. This is like an obvious flagrant abuse of the system that is flawed.
Fresh and Fit decided to hit us with dozens of copyright claims. We saw this was probably going to end up coming. Honestly, not upset about it at all. They apologized to us for some of the comments that they made in regards to Preach's significant other. And then afterwards, recently, they decided to copyright claim the video that we did in response to their apology. So imagine being like, yo, we f***ed up, we take accountability, we're sorry. We're like, oh, this is how we feel about your apology, copyright claim.
Now, Fresh and Fit did what they did, and ultimately everything got reversed. And honestly, they got a slap on the wrist, and that was probably the beginning of the downfall of Fresh and Fit as a channel as a whole. Is because what they did, you just truly can't do. But the fact that they were even able to do it, like the system in and of itself should be fixed, because nobody should just be able to go and look at 30 channels and clap everything at once without there being some sort of pause. This is the way that it goes. You can report it to YouTube. YouTube is going to take action on the channel first, and then they may go and do their due diligence behind it, as opposed to, okay, we got a bunch of claims, let's do an investigation first and then take action. That's how normal people do things. And the reason why they do that is to open up this runway for a bunch of unclear guidelines and unnecessary and not explained enforcement of the rules. Like, YouTube gives out the most vague guidelines in the world. You would think that as a creator, they hand you some sort of playbook that gives you at least some sort of visual examples of what can go wrong or why this would get flagged, etc., but no. And even when asked for a response, it's usually bot after bot after bot. And unless you have some sort of connection to YouTube, like a YouTube rep, like some of the bigger channels have, you getting somebody actual to explain why this was done is not going to happen to you. But it's crazy because simultaneously, the guideline is also so clear enough that even when you do things to a T and replicate videos that other people post on their channel, or hell, replicate things that you've done on your channel before, you can still get flagged. You can still get, striked, or you can still get some sort of repercussion for the video that you put out. It happens to me all the time when I get ad suitabilities on follow-ups or videos that I've done in the past. And what's crazy is the ones in the past aren't flagged, or the ones in the current aren't flagged, but the ones in the past were flagged. It's super inconsistent. Hell, it just happened to me recently. I put up a video talking about, I don't even know if I should really say this, but I put up a whole video talking about the whole To Catch a craze, where somebody IRL did this same exact thing and some students got charged. I don't want to go into too much detail, but if you saw a video on my channel a couple days ago and wondering where it is right now, that's because YouTube took it down. It's crazy because the clips that I use in the video are from Vitali and Literal News. Like, this is from NBC News, and I'm not promoting this stuff, I'm condemning it. I'm literally talking down on the actions that are done at the school, but yet YouTube caught me for bullying and harassment. And every single clip that I got can be found on YouTube. Situations like this to me are really, really deflating, especially because all we are doing as commentators in some regards is just informing people. Sometimes we give our opinions here and there, but a lot of the information that we're giving is public knowledge. People can go and look at this stuff. We're just doing it in a condensed and a creative way. Me taking literal news should not cause for a video to be taken down. In fact, silencing that is almost like you're silencing the fact that this bad thing is happening. And I know what a lot of people are thinking. I'm a black creator, Cameron's a black creator, Corey's a black creator, Abba and Preach, Playback. There seems to be a theme here.
Why is my channel so much more thoroughly scrutinized? Especially so when I've been #1 trending multiple days in a row, which I've done multiple times. And every single time I start to get an uptick in traction, an uptick in activity, here comes YouTube coming through. Hey, let's get him for that video from 2019. Yeah, you see this, Corey? No, this is bad. It wasn't bad the 9 months that I was off the platform. I cannot 100% prove that race had everything to do with this, but I can tell you the people on that policy team, those shadow people that are anonymous and get to enact their will however they see fit. How can we be sure that they take a black person's video and a white person's video and it can be the same exact video and they restrict the black person's video but not the white person's video?
Now listen, I've seen content creators of different ilks get away with a bunch of stuff. And I mean a bunch of stuff on all of these platforms. And what I'm about to say isn't new here. I don't know how I can personally prove it, but I see a lot of the rigmarole and hoops and loops that the black content creators have to go through that I don't see with the white content creators. I see quick resolutions. I see putting things up under the rug for a lot of these content creators. I mean, hell, Mr. Beast had whole on child... I can't even say what I want to say, but he had the stuff on the wall and nobody said anything for years until it was called out in a video middle of last year or whatever the case may be. But God forbid I show Speed, I don't know, call somebody a bitch and he's suspended for 2 weeks. God forbid Cameron calls out another black creator and he gets hit with no answers. God forbid I try to inform people on a trend that is actively harming people and my videos get taken down. Like, God forbid all these things happen. And it's not just us. We can see people in the same niche. I'm talking talking about same or similar niches have different CPMs, have different RPMs, get different pushes to the algorithm, have, I don't know, same title, same thumbnail, same editing style and everything, and the outcomes are just different on their video. We can see who's at these different creator events between YouTube, Twitch, and TikTok. Hell, Twitch just last year, and I mean late last year, just started embracing Kai Cenat over all the other content creators that were on the platform. And if we talk about how many people are kicked out of the creator program or are marketed by TikTok, get the right brand deals and stuff like that, you would have to think that it's targeted at some point. Now, I don't know what's gonna happen to this video. I just need people to understand that it's not us. We wanna make it better. We wanna make it even. Sometimes it is Team Red. And I love YouTube. YouTube has done a lot for me. It's transformed everything. I just wish we were on a level playing field.
Some pretty things, yes? It's idea. Keep your eyes sharp.
Shape your fate! Mad creature! Out of my way!
That was dumb of me.
Scene or TikTok's gonna be dead. GG's. But wait, Meek Mill said he
I don't even understand it. Elon unfollowed Asmon. Was he's not happy about the probably not happy about the PoE video? There's no way he played that account.
Just running past Kazog.
No loot filter.
Please don't press against Mana Blast.
He's individually dragging the maps into the inventory.
Level 48.
It's not really about one of these things happening. It's about everything. There has to be hundreds of hours to being level 90 fucking 7. If Elon Musk can prove that he played this account to 97, I will stream on X starting the day that he proves it for an entire year straight, every single stream that I do. It was so obvious. You cannot get mad at me for bringing this up. If somebody does something that I like, I'm going to say, I like the fact that you did that. But if they do something that I don't like, I have to say that it's bad. Because if you don't do that, that's not really telling the truth, is it? What is this? He responded about it. I love my Chinese alter ego. Okay, here we go.
So one of the questions was, am I going to comment on the Chinese driver of my Path of Exile account? Yes. His name is Elon Ma, and he's amazing. I rely on him for everything.
Well, there it is. The mystery has been solved. There we go. The ghost camera, Elon Ma. Yep.
They're gonna beat this guy.
creature! A gift from my ancestors! You won't catch me off guard! 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 Move!
Damn, I suck.
Anything catch your eye? Some pretty things, yes? I'll take it.
All right. Alpha 6 will run. Oh, I can get off of this game.